What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here today to bring you an NFL prediction video on free agent pass rusher Bryce Huff. I believe the former Jets pass rusher will sign with the Detroit Lions this offseason. Now, let's discuss why. So, before we start the video, guys, hit that comment section up down below. What team do you believe will sign Bryce Huff? Who will win the search this offseason? Like I said, I believe the Detroit Lions, but there are definitely other teams out there that could use the service and land them as well. So, let's get into it, guys. So, for me, Bryce Huff, I won't say Bryce Young so bad, but Bryce Huff is probably the best story this offseason as far as free agency goes. A no-name guy, undrafted guy from Memphis a couple years ago, and now he's, probably the Jets' most important offseason player, a free agent player. He had 10 sacks last year. The coaches love him. A workhorse guy, doesn't start, but still, gets a good enough playing time to really make some impact. But the thing is, they probably can't pay him. Salah would love to have him back. I'm pretty sure the teammates would as well. But you already have a guy like Will McDonald they drafted last year, the pass rusher. I forgot where he's from. I think Iowa State, something like that. But they have him who's set even already to take his spot. We already knew this anyways. They have Johnson already, so Jermaine Johnson from a couple years ago. So they're kind of already set long term and currently. So I don't see them even keeping Bryce Huff. They probably would love to, but also looking at Woody Johnson and his comments throughout the year, the Jets lost Aaron Rodgers early on, and he wants to be competitive immediately. So that means you might got to bring in offensive weapons like Odell Beckham or Hunter Henry to help the offense and better tackles also, to help the offensive line out and offense. Because the defense is already set, they're already good, they're already, established as a great defense. The offense has to get going though. So with that being the case, if Bryce Huff is a free agent, what teams can get him? So like I said, my team is the Detroit Lions. They're not my team as in my favorite team, but the team I'm predicting for Bryce Huff. But there are a bunch of teams. Chicago Bears who have a bunch of money. The Texans have a bunch of money they can use as well. Commanders could use his services. They lost Montez Sweat and Chase Young. More teams out there as well. Because it just depends on what Huff wants in free agency. The rumor is he wants about $20 million per year. But over the cap, who great at what they do, they have him about 17, 18, somewhere around that range. I say even 15. Teams could hardball him even 15 because he's not a starter. He hasn't had a full season of starting yet. He hasn't started that many games for the Jets either. He just made his impact coming off the bench, being a rotational guy for most of the time. So, he's not really a proven guy yet. That's why I think some teams could hardball him, give him kind of a short multi-year prove-it deal, somewhere around 2 years, 35 million, maybe even 40 million. Give him his 20 plus, but it'll be short term. I think that could be the best option for most of these teams out there. The Rams as well. The Rams been trying to get Brian Burns from the Panthers for years, and Bryce, excuse me, and Bryce Huff isn't Brian Burns as far as the prospect goes, but name value is always the greatest thing. You can definitely use someone else who's not as established as far as name goes, but have a similar impact. And I think Bryce Huff can give some teams that. They might not get Danielle Hunter, they might not get Brian Burns, they might not get Josh Allen from the Jags, but Bryce Huff would be a good consolation prize that could definitely, give you some impact, some pressures. And, I'm not really a numbers guy, but PFF did have him ranked above Michael Parsons as far as pressure goes. I think Michael Parsons was like 20% pressure rate, and then Bryce Huff was like 21. And we know just on film how much Michael Parsons got home and got close to coming home on the quarterback. So it's that's a pretty good number to be over a guy like him if you're Bryce Huff. So, but like I said, he doesn't have the wear and tear of a starter. So that does come to play as well, and also a great defense like the Jets. Great pass coverage, pretty good linebackers as well. So they have a lot of time, for the pass rushers to get back there. But like I said, that doesn't really diminish his what he did the last couple years. 10 sacks this year, 4 sacks the year prior. He's just been progressing every year that we've seen him. But why the Lions? The Lions, to me, are really under the microscope this offseason. I was on them early this season as far as making a big time trade, and I was wrong on that standpoint. I was really heavy on go get Mike Evans. He went out to Tampa. This was early on. This was before the first game of the season. When the Mike Evans drama happened, he wanted a new contract before the season started. I'm like, go get Mike Evans. Go get this player. Go get that player. But they were all big names. And the Lions don't really function off of going on big names. Brad Holmes normally go his own route, go through the draft, little free agents here and there, not too many big names. So I respect that. And this year, I think they go the same way. A lot of teams have them paid to get Danielle Hunter, have them paid to go after Brian Burns and give them a big payday. I'm looking for the secondary guy that, secondary alternative option that could give them, like I said, a similar impact, but not the same value of a contract and name recognition. And Bryce Huff fits. I want to say young so bad. Bryce Huff fits the bill on both of those. He'll give you a similar impact to a Brian Burns, Josh Allen, not as good, but close enough, and it won't cost you as much also. So I think the Lions, who already have a great defense under Aaron Glenn as far as stopping the run goes, they need to help with that pass rush. And with the coverage. First, before the coverage happens, you need a pass rushers there. Aiden Hutchinson is number one guy, clearly, no question there. But if he doesn't get home, as far as sacks go, no one else really gets home on a Detroit Lions team. So instead of having to dial up all these pressures and blitzes that kind of hurt the Lions in certain moments versus certain teams, you can also have a straight up 4-man rush if you add a guy like Bryce Huff and give him with a combination with Aiden Hutchinson. You already have the run stoppers up the middle. All you got to do after that is focus on corners. Jalen Johnson from the Bears probably can't get him. Probably going to be franchise tagged. But you do have other guys like Stephon Gilmore, a little older, on the older side, but still can play, still can hang with some of these guys on any given snap. Did get a little burnt a couple times here and there, but it happens. It happens. It can't be a perfect cornerback, but he definitely still can play. You have guys in the draft, the Lions who are masterful. I've read about their draft class the last couple years. So they can definitely find someone in the draft, plus pairing it with a couple veteran options and Bryce Huff. I think they could definitely, the Lions are a team I trust to spend their money wisely. But like I said, there's no guarantee. You can definitely have the Rams come in and take Bryce Huff from the Jets. The Jets can still retain them if they make enough cap space. They have a bunch of guys who they can also cut as well and restructure contracts. So Bryce Huff can stay, but you have McDonald, you have Johnson, you have a nice rotation already. It's kind of Huff is a good player, but it wouldn't really make sense to bring him back. But it's tough because he averages last year 10 sacks, and it was all legit. It wasn't like no fluky sacks and just they all fell into him. He earned his sacks. He's very good hands, good speed, good size on him. He definitely knows how to play ball. So it's like he's a fluky 10 sacks, and half of them were just fluky. It was all legit. So, but the Bears the question really is as well, are the Bears that thirsty to get a pass rusher? If they miss out on Danielle Hunter, which is a rumor, everyone's probably going with Hunter to the Chicago Bears. If he doesn't go there, like I said, Huff is probably the best option left because I think Josh Allen will be tagged. I think Brian Burns could be franchise tagged. I'm not quite sure what's going on there in Carolina as far as Bryce Burns' history goes. His future goes because the history shows they don't really want him, but at the same time, they kind of do because they didn't want the first 2 first rounders that the Rams offered a couple years ago, but then they didn't give him a contract extension last year. So it's like I don't know what what the Panthers' goal is for Brian Burns, but if those guys don't hit the market, then who else do you really have as an edge rusher? Just Bryce Huff, Yankin Ngakoue, Zadarius Smith. That's really it. So I think Bryce Huff could be the best option as far as pass rushing goes. Chase Young, if the Niners don't franchise tag him. So Bryce Huff could be in for a big payday. I could be wrong. Him asking for $20 million, he might really get $20 million as being probably the best pass rusher that will be available around free agency period. So we'll see where it goes. Hope the best for him, but I think the Detroit Lions probably the best fit for him. And if he goes there, pair it up with Aiden Hutchinson, and already like I said, they already have good run stoppers. Just get some edge rush, get some cornerback help. The Lions should be just fine heading into next year with a target on their back, being such a dangerous team the last couple of years. In 2022 they were a very tough team, just missed the playoffs. Then 2023 got to the NFC title game. So the target is definitely on their back. The coaching staff, the players will now be feeling that pressure of making it to the big game. Having a guy like Bryce Young added to your team definitely could help you reach that point, giving you an upgrade pass rush with Aiden Hutchinson. So that's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.